Hello, folks. This is Freedom Fighter. Today is Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. And Goldilocks has shared two articles that we're going to discuss briefly. And it's in regards to the digital transformation that we're in the process of seeing. What I want to share is also very important from a spiritual perspective. This morning, when speaking to Goldilocks, and every day when I speak to Goldilocks, I continuously um, see the power of the spirit that Goldilocks possesses. When these articles that Goldilocks provides are posted, oftentimes, and Goldilocks has shared this with me, is that from a higher perspective, a higher spiritual perspective, Goldilocks is guided. And as I've mentioned before, when people have asked, well, who is Goldilocks? My response is always, from my perspective, Goldilocks is a consortium of multiple global financial agencies, such as the IMF, the BIS, the CFTC, World Bank, and also even specifically with Goldilocks D and their direct relationship with the CBI. Then as well, the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and many other agencies collectively. And when these articles are presented to you, I want you to understand this is not just articles that are presented for you to read and skim through. The hope is that you will read, do your best to comprehend, and be empowered. Reason being is that that power comes from a higher source within you. This is how Goldilocks is able to present such articles with facts that are directly there for you in black and white. And also, there's been two conversations that I've had with Goldilocks over the last 2 weeks, and they said something that it resonated with me in a very profound way from a spiritual perspective, because they mentioned about the power of the light that's in our brains. Literally, a light that is in our brain. And this light is source, the God source within us. So when you read these articles, when you do your best to try to comprehend them, understand the power of that light. Not only that resonates within Goldilocks to present these articles to you, but also the power of that light within you to really understand what is being shared in these articles. And that connection between yourself and that light within you and within the articles provided by Goldilocks, something within you should awaken. And that something allows you to understand and read something that you may not have understood before, even though it may be technical or financial terminology. But do your best to try to understand and stay away from always hearing and looking for places and people to tell you something to tickle your fancy, to make you feel good, or to give you that dose of hopium drug. You don't need any of that. All you need is that light within you. So I'm going to go through these two articles and hope that you Allow that light within you to shine and resonate. Even if you don't understand, do your best, and the answers will come. Here we go. The Bank of International Settlements announcement. The Basel Committee consults on principles for the sound management of third-party risk. Cryptocurrency apps are considered third-party risk applications. Last October, we talked about third-party applications such as crypto app wallets being added to the quantum financial system. Now they're beginning to work on some principles to govern them, and they are in the consultation process. So folks, this shows the maturation of this process with these apps and cryptocurrency in the QFS proceeding. Goldilocks continues. API stands for Application Programming Interface. In banking, the APIs are tools that allow software to communicate and perform tasks. Just understand, folks, software is embedded into the QFS that will allow transactions such as exchanges and normal bank transactions to be performed. Goldilocks continues. APIs use XML and JSON codes to enable communication between banks and client servers. JSON provides up-to-date financial information to users, allowing automatic syncing of bank transactions. Think instantaneously. Think instant transactions. Think both sides of a transaction that is confirmed. API integration. Use the Open API to help automate your business payment flows by offering functionality to users. Comments on these proposed principles are expected by October the 9th, 2024. At this time, these guiding principles will enable a sound working governing process for third-party apps. Goldilocks. Folks, again, when you see dates, don't allow yourself to be alarmed by a date to try to figure out if something will happen if something needs to happen until then, I should say. This is just showing that Goldilocks is providing the BIS. For those of you who may not know, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, it is the central bank of all central banks. All central banks are governed by and roll up to the Bank of International Settlements. Goldilocks has shared a plethora of articles from the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, as they are one of the several global agencies overseeing the implementation of the QFS as we see it happening. I'm going to go to the next article provided by Goldilocks as well. And this is in regards to the DBS Digital Exchange. It says digital asset volumes are soaring. So here we have where Goldilocks has shared on crypto wallets, and the interfacing within the QFS. Now we have another digital transformation that's being shared. Here we go. Professional investors are increasingly viewing digital assets as a legitimate part of their alternative portfolios, said Lim Wei Qian, CEO of DDX. Professional traders are beginning to step into the fray of cryptocurrency investing. So here we have, folks, sort of an ante-up of what's happening. This is requiring safe platforms that are governed and regulated by federal institutions and laws that encourage professional investors to look away from traditional assets and into digitized tokens that represents those traditional assets. So here we have the digital tokens to represent these assets, folks. This is history in the making as it pertains to the QFS, where these tokens are tokens that move through the QFS that also will move and back our paper currencies. This is instant transactions and digital transactions of representing our paper currencies. These current moves, Goldilocks says, will begin to create the transition from the old economy to the new one going forward. If you look at the debt clock that many of us have been following, we understand that, for example, even our beloved member in the dialogues room mentioned earlier today, Mom, who shared the debt clock showing the old financial system, the old economy is going away. Why? Because we are in the birthing phase of a new economy and a new world, even a new spiritual world. Goldilocks continues. As more monetary assets and government policies begin to shift towards the new digital economy, we can look for mass adoption of the new monetary system, begin to formulate new patterns on our global markets. And there are links. One is a link, and a second link is a YouTube video that Goldilocks is sharing. Between the both of these articles that Goldilocks has shared, it shows that we are in the process of transitioning from the old banking system, the old world, and transitioning into the new banking system in the new world. So with that newness, you must understand that we are at a point of no return where God and the light that is within us is shining brighter than ever before, even when sometimes it may not seem that way, especially when you are hearing every 48 hours and every weekend that this is happening. Although not completely false for as it pertains to it happening, it's just the timing that you are being told consistently. We encourage you to take back your power. And as Goldilocks has shared with me so profoundly, is to understand and know that light within your brain. It's a very powerful light. It's the light of God inside of you. Take back your power and not allow yourself to constantly be controlled by the words of others, but of the power of that light within you. We love you. We appreciate you. And as always, show some unconditional love.